Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. All praise belongs to Allah, the one who hears every whisper of the heart, even the ones we never say out loud. Peace and blessings upon the final messenger, who himself wept in dua, who himself waited for answers, who himself knew what it felt like to ask and not immediately receive. Tonight I want to speak on something that touches almost every single person listening. That moment when you've made dua, sincerely, repeatedly, with tears, with hope, and it feels like nothing happened. Silence. No answer, no sign. And slowly that silence starts to feel heavier than the problem you were praying about in the first place. Maybe you've asked Allah for healing and the illness remains. Maybe you've asked for a marriage and the years pass with no one in sight. Maybe you've asked for a child, for a job, for a way out of debt, for a broken relationship to be repaired, for a loved one to change their ways. And you've asked and asked and asked, and it feels like the sky isn't listening. I want you to know tonight, the sky is listening. Allah is listening. And what feels like silence is very often the loudest kind of love you will ever receive. You simply cannot hear it yet. Begin by correcting something important. There is actually no such thing, in the true sense, as an unanswered dua. This might sound strange to say, especially to someone in pain, but let me explain what I mean. The Prophet, peace be upon him, told us that when a believer makes a sincere dua, one of three things will happen. Either it is given to them in this world exactly as they asked, or it is turned away from them as a means of protecting them from a harm they cannot see, or it is stored for them as a reward that meets them on the day of judgment, when they will wish that none of their du'as in this world had been answered immediately, because what awaits them is so much greater. Read that again. 3 outcomes, and every single one of them is in reality an answer. So when we say unanswered dua, what we truly mean is a dua that wasn't answered in the way we expected, in the timing we wanted, in the form we had already decided was best. But Allah's response was never absent. It was simply not what we were looking for, because we cannot always see what He sees. This is the question that quietly eats away at so many of us. If Allah loves me, why would He make me wait? Why would He let me suffer through this asking, this hoping, this heartbreak, without giving me relief? Consider this. When a parent delays giving a child something the child is desperately begging for, a sharp knife to play with, a dangerous road to cross alone, food that would make them sick, the delay isn't cruelty. It's protection wrapped in a form the child cannot yet understand. The child, in their limited awareness, only feels the disappointment of not getting what they want. They cannot see the wisdom behind the wait. Wait. We are, in front of Allah's knowledge, infinitely more limited than that child is in front of a parent's understanding. We ask for things believing they are good for us, when Allah, who created us and knows the unseen, knows they may harm us, and we resent delays in the things we do need, not realizing the delay itself may be preparing us, softening us, positioning us for something even better. There's a beautiful reminder in the Quran. Perhaps you dislike a thing which is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing which is bad for you, and Allah knows while you do not know. This verse alone should reshape the way we view every delay, every closed door, every prayer that seems to go unanswered. Here's something I want you to hold on to tightly. Even if the exact thing you're asking for never comes in this life, the dua itself is never wasted. The act of raising your hands, of whispering to Allah in the middle of the night, when no one else knows your pain, of returning to Him again and again despite the silence, That act is itself an act of worship, and it is recorded and it is loved by Allah. Think about this deeply. Allah doesn't need your dua. He is not made richer by your asking, nor poorer by your silence. But He loves that you ask. He loves the humility in it. He loves the dependence it represents. In fact, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that Allah is displeased with the one who does not ask Him at all. No? So even in the waiting, even in what feels like an unanswered prayer, you are doing something Allah loves. You are turning to Him, and that turning is never in vain. We have to understand that the wait itself is often the trial, not the outcome. Allah is not just testing whether you receive what you want. He is testing how you carry yourself while you don't have it yet. Will you still trust Him? Will you still pray? Will you still believe in His mercy even when the evidence in front of you seems to suggest otherwise? Think of the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He asked Allah for a child for decades. Decades of waiting, decades of asking, decades of what must have felt like silence. And when the child finally came in old age, it was Ismail. And shortly after, Ibrahim was commanded to leave him and his mother in a barren desert. The story doesn't end in comfortable resolution. It continues through trial after trial. And yet, Ibrahim's trust never wavered. This is the model we're given. Not someone whose life was free of delay, but someone whose faith never depended on how quickly Allah responded. Or think of Musa alayhi salam, who prayed for guidance for his people, for relief from Pharaoh's tyranny, who led the Israelites through hardship after hardship before liberation ever came. Or Yaqub alayhi salam, who wept for his son Yusuf for years, not days, losing his eyesight from the grief, and never once did he curse Allah or lose hope. He said, I only complain of my suffering and my grief to Allah. He complained to Allah, not about Allah. There's a profound difference. This is perhaps the most important lesson in all of this. When dua feels unanswered, we stand at a fork. One path leads us to pull away from Allah, to feel abandoned, to stop praying, to grow bitter and question whether faith even matters. The other path leads us closer to Him, to pray more, not less, to increase our reliance, to trust that the one who created the problem also holds the solution, even if it hasn't arrived yet. The believer chooses the second path, even when it's hard, even when tears come before words do. And what's beautiful is that Allah responds to this choice. The Quran says, and when my servants ask you concerning me, indeed I am near. I respond to the call of the caller when he calls upon me. Allah didn't say He responds only to the ones whose situations improve immediately. He said He responds. Sometimes that response is patience placed in your heart. Sometimes it's a door opening you didn't even know you needed. Sometimes it's protection from something you were never meant to have. Let me offer a few things to hold on to while you wait for your dua to be answered in the way you hope for. First, don't stop asking. The Prophet, peace be upon him, warned against a person saying, I made dua and it wasn't answered, and then abandoning dua altogether. Persistence in asking is itself a sign of strong faith, not weak faith. Second, examine the manner of your asking, not to blame yourself, but to draw closer to Allah through it. Are you asking with sincerity? Are you avoiding what displeases Him while you wait for what pleases you? This isn't about earning an answer through perfection. None of us are perfect, but about drawing nearer through consistent effort. Third, increase your good deeds while you wait. Charity, kindness, patience with others, seeking forgiveness. These are not unrelated to your dua. They are part of the same conversation with Allah, a conversation made not only in words, but in actions. Fourth, remember the times Allah has already answered you, even in small ways, even in ways you may have overlooked. This builds trust for the times you're still waiting. Fifth, understand that some of the greatest blessings in your life are things you never specifically asked for. Allah has already been generous with you in ways beyond your own imagination or requests. This is proof that His giving does not depend entirely on the shape of your asking. He gives out of His mercy in ways you couldn't have planned yourself. I want to close with something that I hope stays with you long after this reminder ends. The day of judgment will bring a moment where the believer sees, laid out in front of them, every single dua they ever made in this world that seemed to go unanswered. And in that moment, they will not feel cheated. They will feel overwhelmed with gratitude because what was withheld from them here will be given to them there, multiplied in a form more beautiful than anything they could have imagined asking for. So if you are in a season of waiting right now, waiting for healing, waiting for provision, waiting for a marriage, waiting for a child, waiting for a heart to soften, waiting for a door to open, don't mistake the silence for absence. Don't mistake delay for rejection. Allah has not forgotten you. He has not turned away from you. He is near, closer than your own breath, and He is writing a story for you that you cannot yet see the ending of. Keep asking. Keep your hands raised, even when your eyes are tired. Keep whispering His name, even in the moments no one else is listening, because the one who is listening has never once stopped, and He never will. May Allah answer every sincere dua of yours in this world or reserve something greater for you in the next. May He never let you lose hope in Him, no matter how long the wait. Barakallahu fikum.